بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. This session we're talking about all things that break wudu. Last week we talked about as-salat or the fara'id obligations of wudu, which were 4. To wash the whole face, to wash the arms from the tip to the elbows including, to wipe a quarter of the head, and to wash the feet, these 4 being obligations. If you left any of these 4, you do not have wudu. Then we talked that the sunnah is, you start with your hands 3 times, your mouth, your nose, washing your whole face with these limits, and then your hands, and then lacing them together like this, takhleel, including the elbows, with a special emphasis and warning by the Prophet ﷺ on the heel. Woe to the heels from the fire. He said it 3 times. Why? Because when people wash their feet, they're very negligent to get to their heel. So whenever I wash my feet, when I make wudu, I always make sure I get my heel super good. Okay? Otherwise, some people, they just put water and wipe and walk off. I never ever make wudu like that. I make sure that I get wudu, water, and wipe every part of my body. Well, one, when I used to lead prayers, you have to be very extra careful because you're leading others. If the imam's wudu is not intact, neither is anybody else's prayer valid. Okay? And then, so this, now we're going to talk about all things that break the wudu. You got it? So he says, وَيَنْقُضُ الْوُدُوء كُلُّ مَا خَرَجَ مِنَ السَّبِيلَيْنِ. Anything that comes out from the private parts of a human being breaks the wudu. Whether you go number 1, number 2, or you pass wind, that's the correct formal way of saying passing gas or wind, or anything else breaks the wudu. Okay? Or you bleed. You bleed from any part of the body in which the blood runs. The blood runs. If you had a poke and a little bit of blood forms but doesn't move, it just stays there. Like a pin, you take a pin and poke, a little bit of blood comes out, that doesn't break wudu yet. If you held it like that and it dries completely, you didn't lose wudu. But if you poked it and a little teeny blood came out and then you took a napkin and tapped it and now you transferred the blood, if blood runs or moves or is transferred, it breaks wudu. So sometimes you might get a cut, oh, I bled a little, it hasn't run yet. It's just very slight in its spot. That doesn't break wudu. But if it breaks and it just moved even a teeny bit down, you broke wudu for bleeding. As for if it's hard, sometimes you might have a bloody nose or pick something out of your nose and it's hard blood, like a clot, doesn't break wudu. Okay? However, if you have a nosebleed, it breaks wudu. If you cut your hand, it breaks wudu. When you brush your teeth though, if you get only one, like a small amount, like a streak of blood in your saliva, that's not going to break wudu. Okay? With the mouth, this is the only part of your mouth, is the only part of your body where you're going to look at the amount. If you spit and your spit is, if it's clear with just a couple streaks of blood, it's okay. You get that when you brush your teeth. But if you spit and there's quite a bit of it, you break wudu. If it changes color slightly, or if it's more red than not, breaks the wudu. Okay? Or if you vomit when you throw up, also breaks wudu. If it was a very tiny amount, then it doesn't break wudu. Like just a slight amount comes up and it goes back down. Okay? Doesn't break wudu. And also what breaks wudu is if you fall asleep lying down, or you became unconscious, like maybe fainted or you slept. However, if you fell asleep sitting down, listen carefully. If you fell asleep sitting down but upright like this, if I fell asleep in my seat right now like this, I woke up 5 minutes later, I don't lose wudu. Okay? And there's two views here. View number one says you must fall asleep on hard ground like this with your back up front, like against this 90-degree angle. You can sleep for 3 hours. Wake up, you're like, that was a great sleep. You don't have to make wudu. You can just get up and pray. But if at any point you fell, and as you fell, you got up, you lost wudu. Okay? There's a difference of opinion over if you're sitting in a car seat or an airplane seat or a seat like the ones you're sitting on with cushion. Does that break wudu or not? The strong opinion is it does not break wudu. Although some scholars said it might break wudu because you're not on hard ground, but that's a weak opinion. The strong opinion says that you do not break wudu. Now there's a couple of things I want to discuss with you guys. Number one, I'm teaching you the Hanafi school. It's important to know. Number two, when we discuss fiqh, Islamic law, there's always multiple opinions. Rarely is it one opinion. There's always going to be other opinions. It is always obligatory to follow the most strongest opinion. Unless you have a real need or concern, you need to take a lesser opinion. Okay? You're always obligated to follow the strong opinion of the school. Okay? However, and I'm going to test you on this, you can take a weaker opinion if you're in very great need of it, like you have a need of it. Then you can take another view that's weaker even, but not when you don't have a genuine need. Okay? So, what is the strongest view about falling asleep on a chair? The strongest opinion in our school is it does not break wudu as long as you're upright. But anytime you fall asleep or lose consciousness otherwise, you lose wudu. If a person took some kind of a hallucinatory medicine, like if you took painkillers or some kind of medicine that altered your mind and you weren't full conscious, like some people might be drunk or have some type of medicine that has that effect, you'll also lose wudu because your mind is not in a sound state in that moment. Okay? If you fall asleep, and this is maybe not for you to know, but if you ever fell asleep standing or bowing or even in sajda, you don't lose wudu. Okay? Because there's a hadith that لا wudu على من نام قاعدا أو قائما أو راكعا أو ساجدا إنما الوضوء على من نام مضطجعا. So wudu is only for a person who slept laying down, not for the one who was standing, sitting, prostrating, or bowing. I don't know how you would fall asleep in those positions, but I think the idea in Islamic law is, were you to pass wind or gas, you would be aware of it in those other positions. Okay? If a man and a woman touch hands, they would not break wudu. If a random stranger, man and woman, if they shook hands, they don't break wudu, as they do in a different school, but that's not our concern. In the Hanafi school, they will not lose wudu. Although it is not permissible for a man and a woman to shake hands. Right? The only man and women that can shake hands are husband and wife, daughter and father, or mother, aunt, grandma, niece of the man, right? Granddaughter of the man, sister, aunt, but not cousin. Cousins are not allowed to shake hands, and not anybody who is not your relative directly would not be allowed to do so. Unless there's a barrier. So if someone wanted to shake your hand and you couldn't cover, then you can put your hand out like this, and if they shook it, then it wouldn't be haram. What is not permissible? Skin to skin touch like that. Okay? I was just at a high school. Some kids wanted to laugh at that ruling. So I said it's the same in Judaism as well, Orthodox Judaism, and probably old Catholicism. They have all these things, but people don't want to follow it. Okay? Yes, it's hard, but so is life. You have to try your best. Don't initiate it. As you get older, you don't need to go up to somebody, "Hi, how are you? I'm so-and-so." Put your hand out first. Wouldn't be right. If they put their hand out first, well, then it's less of a sin on you because you didn't instigate it. And a good way to get out of it as you get older is, before they even say hi to you, put your hand on your heart, say, "Hi, how are you? I'm so-and-so." They'll already get an indication you don't want to shake hands. One of my teachers used to say, you can even say, "I'm not feeling well." Then they definitely don't want to touch your hand. Right? Try your best. The reason I tell you this now is because no one will tell you this later. So I'm telling you just so you know. And then you do with it what you are going to do with it. Inshallah, you'll do the right thing. And when you are making wudu, your own hand is considered part of your body. So if you're washing yourself or showering, ghusl, any of those things, you don't lose wudu by touching any part of your body. You only lose wudu if something comes out of your body in the Hanafi school. Okay? So that's inshallah pretty clear. The next section we're going to talk about is al-ghusl. And really briefly, we're going to talk about ghusl. Ghusl, full ghusl, is when you need to take an Islamic shower. Okay? Islamic shower. When do we take a full shower? In particular, it is recommended on the day of Friday. And there's a difference of opinion between the scholars. Is the bath or ghusl or shower on Fridays for Friday day, or is it for Friday Salat Jummah? Which one is it? So there's two opinions. If you make ghusl for Friday because it's Friday prayer, so let me give you an example. Sisters, you guys can take ghusl on Friday, which is Thursday night. You could take a shower Thursday night, American, and make an intention. I'm making this shower because it's Friday. The night is before the day in Islam. I'm making my shower, my ghusl for Friday day, so I get the reward. Because Friday is a holy, sacred day for us. It's a sacred day. So you give that shower, and you're not going to go to Friday prayer, right? So you're good. You'll get a lot of reward. But if you are going to Friday prayer, brothers in particular, then you need to take your shower and then keep your wudu to get the full reward. So you take a shower like at 12 o'clock, 12:30, right before Jummah. And then you make an intention, Ya Allah, I'm making this ghusl, this shower, for Salat al-Jummah, for Jummah prayer. If the person loses wudu, he's not going to get the reward of a ghusl for Friday prayer. He has to take another shower and go to Jummah prayer if he wants the full reward. So in other words, once you take a full shower, go straight to Friday prayer, don't lose your wudu in between. Same for sisters. If you want to do it for the salat, then fine. You do it for salat, you go straight for Jummah prayer. I believe one of the schools even said it's an obligation to make ghusl for Friday. Take a full shower. Okay? In our school, we do not say it's wajib, but it is a highly emphasized sunnah to do so. Alhamdulillah, I shower every Friday. And I did so today as well. But I shower every Friday because it's Friday, it's Jummah. It's the one day you should shower. Not for any reason other than it's a great, sacred, tremendous day we should have respect for. So you should shower. Right? So if your parents make you shower once a week, choose Friday. And if you don't go to Friday prayer, do it right after you come home from school. Maybe before my class. Okay? So, while you take the shower, and you have to take a shower because it requires you in Islamic law at times to do so, then what are the obligations? That's what we're going to do today. Obligations of ghusl are 3. I want you to repeat after me. Obligations of ghusl are 3. Go ahead. 3. So you need to write these down. Okay, let me tell you how important what I'm teaching you is. Some of the scholars say when Allah offered the trust, listen, when Allah offered the trust to humanity and they could not bear the trust, one opinion was this trust was about ghusl, showering. Why? If you're obligated to take a shower because you're not pure and you don't do it right, then your prayer doesn't count, your worship doesn't count. You will meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the Day of Judgment with none of your prayers ever done. You're going to be in big trouble. What is the door to understanding that correctly? How to make ghusl correctly. How to make ghusl correctly. How to do Jummah, the shower correctly. So there are 3 obligations. Obligation number 1, that you wash your entire mouth. That means if there's things in between your teeth, you need to wash it. Wash it. Number 2, you need to, and by that I mean the entire mouth, like gargle water, okay? Gargle water, make sure you brush it. Don't let anything be stuck in between your teeth. Number 2, you take water into your nose, up to the soft bone right here. So you just sniff up a teeny bit of water that it gets inside of your nose. You can use your finger and make sure you clear it. You can't just take a shower, come out without washing your nose. Your ghusl is not done. If you came out of the shower, you're like, oh my God, I forgot my nose. You don't need to go take a shower again. You go in the sink and you do your nose. Even if it's an hour later, even if you remembered it 1 hour, 5 hours later, oh, I forgot my nose. 5 hours later, you go do your nose. Got it? So your mouth, your nose, and then the third fard, washing your entire body, every hair of it completely, getting it wet and washed for ghusl. Got it? If girls have braids, you do not need to take apart the braid. If you have like a very tough braid, you need to get the scalp wet and then the braid just squeeze water like that. Okay? Get water all into your scalp, that you need to get wet, but then the braids, you just squeeze it. If a man had braids, he can't do that. He has to take it apart. Okay? Make sure, because every part of your hair is also part of you. So if there's parts of the hair, so some people, they get dyes in their hair. If it's a temporary dye, it is not permissible and ghusl will not be valid. A temporary dye on your hair. A temporary dye means it does not allow water to penetrate. It's not part of your hair. A ghusl will not be done. So if you ever dye your hair, for girls, you need to get a permanent dye, whatever color it is. Otherwise, ghusl would not be valid. Okay? If you're wearing nail polish, taking a shower, your shower is invalid, not done. You need to remove every speck, not inch, every speck of nail polish needs to be removed. Now, the tricky, listen up and look at me. If you got earrings, you need to move those earrings around with water in it so it can get in there. If you didn't do that, then water might have not gone in the hole. The hole in between is wajib to wash it. Water needs to get in there. So all you do is just move the earring back and forth a couple times, that's it. If one is wearing a ring in the shower, at least move it around to get it wet and then move it back. If you are doing that. Hold on a minute. You got that? Those are the 3 fard of ghusl. Next week, inshallah, as I told you guys, no more than 15-20 minutes for fiqh. Next week, we're going to talk about the exact full sunnah format of how to make ghusl. Next week, inshallah. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم.